It's not the greatest news tonight around Alisson, but it is probably what we thought was going to be the case. We knew he was out of the game of the weekend, but now he's going to be ruled out of, well, the next 6 weeks. That confirmed by David Ornstein, by the way. You can find it on the Anfield Agenda X account. Alisson Becker likely to be out for around 6 weeks, according to David Ornstein. That would see him miss Chelsea, Manchester United, Real Madrid, and the Manchester City game, amongst others. So we'll look tonight at, well, what the difference is with or without Alisson in goal and how Liverpool have fared over the years. And I guess we'll have a conversation around the increased amount of injuries that Alisson has picked up in the last few years. Now, I'm not trying to say we should be doing anything about that, but I think it's certainly an interesting discussion that maybe Georgie Marmadashvili will get more opportunities than he would have initially thought. At least 2 weeks of the international break, said Hammer UK. Yep. And also then when you come back, mate, you've only got another few weeks until we're talking about another international break as well. That's the I guess the upside of this for us, if there is any. One, Alisson won't be travelling back and forth to Brazil for those two, so there is that. And the fact that we have 2 weeks break now, then we play in November for a while, then there'll be another international break in November. You know, if you were to pick a time for it, this could be one of the better ones if there ever is, you know, a decent time to be without a goalkeeper the calibre of Alisson Becker, who, of course, has saved us so many times over the years. And, you know, we often debate a lot on here as Liverpool fans. We talk about centre-backs, forwards, midfielders, who should play here, there, or everywhere. But nobody ever has any doubts about Ali because, in my opinion anyway, he is top 3, if not the best goalkeeper in the world. Said, what's up with Ali? Love to all the family. Thank you, man. Appreciate your membership with us. So, yeah, David Ornstein said earlier on that Alisson is going to be out for around 6 weeks, unfortunately, which is not the news we wanted to hear, is it? And in the spirit of that, let's look at how Liverpool have gotten on with and without Alisson. So these stats went out earlier on. I actually don't know who posted it initially, so I would credit them. I think it's the Premier League, actually. So Alisson's made 235 appearances for Liverpool, and the goals against that we concede when he plays average out at 0.9 goals per game. His save percentage is 73%. 2.2 points per match is what we average with Alisson in goal, and our win percentage is 66. Here's the really interesting thing, though. Without Alisson, we've been without him 37 times. Our goals per match does go up. We concede a little bit more when Alisson isn't there, with 1.3 goals per game. Save percentage of the keepers that have come in is 67% against them. But here's the interesting couple of stats. We actually gain more points per match without Alisson than we have with Alisson. That sounds insane to say out loud, but we gain 2.4 points per game without Alisson versus 2.2 points per game with him. And win percentage, that's even more surprising. So we're 66% when Alisson plays. Without Alisson, 73%. So somehow we have a higher points average and a higher win percentage without Alisson. That is one of those things that truly astounds me, because nobody will say that Alisson isn't a brilliant goalkeeper and that isn't a loss to the team when he's not there. It's a huge loss when he isn't there. Now, Kelleher always deputised very ably when he was at the club, so I guess that speaks to his quality as well. But it's a really interesting one, isn't it? To see that we've actually got, you know, a higher win percentage and more points per game than when he's out. Never, ever, ever in a million years would have guessed that. Liverpool in deep trouble without Alisson. Well, ironically, the stats point to something different, guys, and we were saying this earlier on. You know, my initial instinct is we're in trouble, like you've mentioned, but the actual data behind it is quite interesting. We basically, to cut a long story short for you guys, we have a higher points per match average and a higher win percentage without Alisson than we do with him, which kind of dumbfounds me, because I believe, like you've said, that we are going to be in a bit of trouble without Alisson. Now, Georgie Marmadashvili is a very, very good goalkeeper, and I'm really interested to see how he gets on. I'm more concerned about these injuries that Alisson has started to pick up going back over the last 3 years, let's say, in particular. Unfortunately, these muscle strains and injuries seem to be a recurring thing as he's moved into his 30s, and that is my longer-term concern.